Welcome back to the Secret Underground Lair. It's been a little while since I posted. Some family vacation came up and other things that kind of life gets in the way of getting some projects done. But I'm back onto the fretboard, and first the elephant in the room. Yes, the slots that I cut are too wide. So I had to order some new bits that'll cut that at 0.6 of a millimeter, which is what that should be. This is 1.6, just a mile wide, but at least I was able to demonstrate the thing can work. So not a total write-off. I do have some more blanks that I'll be using to make fretboards, but I thought in this video what I do is practice on the inlays. So I'm going to make some, cut out some inlays in here. And I'm going to be making some inlays that are a little bit unconventional. They're not going to be a circle. I'm going to make a little star-shaped inlay for most of the inlays, and where they would normally be doubled, I'll make that a circle. So there'll be two different types of inlays. I'll give it a try, why not? And just see what that looks like. So I'm going to be, on the final blank, what will happen is that the operations will be surface the blank, then cut the inlay, then do the round over for the fretboard, and then do the frets. So I'm going to, we're out of order of operation here, but at least that'll work. So onto the frets. Now the second thing, elephant in the room, so to speak, I had bleached this wingay, and frankly, I'm not happy with the result of this. I mean, it did change the color quite a bit compared to a regular wingay, unbleached wingay. You can see that difference pretty starkly there. But what I have noticed is that over time, it seems that the tone of the wood is kind of going back into the wingay, and I don't have quite the same distinction from one piece to the other, from bleached to non-bleached. Still interesting, but I don't think it's quite a contrast enough. So I'm not going to use the wingay for the inlay. Instead, I am going to use some maple. I'll use the same maple that I used on the back of the guitar. So we'll have some consistency. But the maple that I'm using on the back of the guitar is much later than this, so it'll make a good contrast. So I'm going to get some G-code ready for that to make the inlays, and come back and put that in. All right, I have the G-code set. This is going to be a 2-pass operation to cut each of these little diamond shapes. So the first pass is just going to hog out most of the cut at 1 millimeter. I'm probably going to make several passes. Then I'm going to come back and make it at 2 millimeter depth. Then I'm going to put in my little 0.6 millimeter bit and cut out the finer point at 1 millimeter, then come back and cut it out at 2 millimeters of depth. So a couple passes for each of these things. I'm going to do all the hogging out first, then put in the bit, the little 0.6 millimeter bit, and finish it up. So yeah, multi-step process, a lot more complicated than it probably needs to be, but I'm a complicated kind of guy. So the first cut here is going to be on the 3rd fret, and it's going to be hogging out 1 millimeter diamond shape. So let's see how that goes. Not quite a diamond, more like a pointed star. pleased with that. I'll bring you over for a closer look. And that is the rough cut. So it's going to be a little 4-pointed star. It is going to be 8 millimeters from tip to tip. So because I have that 1.6 millimeter roundover bit, or 1.6 millimeter bit, I'm cutting it a little short. The finer 0.6 millimeter bit will take it to the full width and height that I want. And of course, make it a finer point on it. So far so good. I'm going to go down another millimeter, come back when that's done. So there is the result of the cut with the little 0.6 millimeter bit. Unfortunately, what happened on that 6 millimeter bit, it's a fairly long bit, and it actually broke. There's part of it. However, the remains of that bit were sufficient to cut that. And I'm just going to keep that bit because it's a little bit stronger at the base. I don't really need to have this super long bit for what I'm doing here. So that's one piece cut. I'll now do the remaining fret holes, slightly revising the G-code a little bit to make all the passes that are necessary for the bit on each hole rather than having to come back at different depths. So yeah, a few more cuts to make. Let's see how this looks in the end. So here's the inlay hole cut with the fine bit. Here it's cut with the rough bits, or with the roughing out bit, the 1.6 millimeter bit. So I have to come back yet and do these holes. Then I did a round hole, so that one's complete. It's 8 millimeters in diameter, which is the distance between the points of the star. And I have these two guys to finish up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes to finish up with the fine bit. I'll put that in and get it all done. Come back when that's ready. Here's just another shot of the before on the left and an after on the right. What a difference this little fine 0.6 bit is making. So I got 3 more holes to do. I'll come back when they're complete. On the last hole that I did, the spindle got a little bit out of alignment, and that was because of me. I had noticed that I was getting a little bit of what looked like a little bit of vibration on the previous holes, and noticing this, I observed that the brackets that I have holding the spindle onto the stand here, these two brackets were right side by side, allowing the spindle to have a little more movement in this direction than desired. Actually, it could probably move in any direction. So I changed the mounting and moved this bracket up higher to make the whole business a little more stable within this frame. Still not incredible, but it is more stable. But as a result of that, it actually threw out the alignment a little bit, which tells me that there's probably an alignment problem with the router here, that this is not exactly perpendicular. However, it is more stable. I'm happier with the cut it made. It sounded better as it was cutting. So for all future cuts, we'll have it in that orientation. But that's just evidence of probably a little bit of machine slop, and might account for these holes not being quite as sharp in the point as this hole is. These are much sharper points. These are a little sloppier points. A little bit of rattling around happening in here, I think. So, yeah, that's an improvement. What I'm going to do next, I'll put this on another video, but what I'm going to do next is cut out the inlays themselves out of the maple and just see how they fit in there. And then we'll get onto a real fretboard. Bringing over one of my pristine blanks, and we'll have a go with that one. So operations that are required to do this fretboard are going to be drilling and mounting it, getting it down to rough thickness, putting in the inlay holes, rounding off and then putting in the inlays themselves. So I'm going to have them glued in. Then we'll do the round over bit just to kind of make everything even. And then we'll do the frets. So lots of operations just to make a fretboard, but learning something every day. That's the point, right? Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And I will see you on the next video.